morning. Thank you for inviting me here to celebrate with you the World Information Architecture Day. I often wondered why some companies are very driven with design and user focus while others don't. Why some companies are very successful in delivering products in spite of COVID situations, tariff issues, or component shortages. They are able to mitigate the supply and continue to be profitable. I came to a realization that if you are given autonomy of what you do, the desire to keep yourselves relevant and seeing the bigger picture of the purpose of why you are doing that and what are you doing, you will always get engaged and connected to your organization, your customers. These key factors will sustain and build the design culture. The design culture, sometimes we call this internally in Lexmark as culture shift. It is for me a gift. It is an opportunity for me to transform myself and influence the organization. There is no need to go to another company or hop in another company because you can build that dream company from ground up since you are part in creating that new culture. This culture allows me to transform myself as a Lexmark designer who does the aesthetics of the printer and graphics. Now, I describe myself as a designer not only concerned on the aesthetics, but the entrepreneurship of how we do things, from user experience, program management, cost, end-to-end delivery, how it will ROI the Lexmark in the future, branding, and so on. And I noticed that those projects and collaborations that I said yes are always connected to each other and snowballed to create a design culture. I always have this option to say yes or no to this request and stick to what my job description asks me to do. But fortune favors the bold, as Kevin Schudinger, my design mentor, would say it. An opportunity for me to grow and connect to other people. If I stayed on the path of status quo, I will not be able to meet and learn from them. Like Steve Jobs would say, and I quote, "You can connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards." So you have to trust that dots that will somehow connect you in the future. So in the next 25 minutes, I will share with you some of my personal stories and thoughts on how we are building and fostering the design culture in Lexmark in this fast-growing connected world. I divided my talk into 5 parts. First is the designer's dream, where I share my inspirations and the companies I look up in terms of culture, and followed by why design culture is important in today's connected world. And I will share with you how we can build the design culture in our organization and sustain it through this AMP formula, and end it with a conclusion. I grew up in a small island called Samar. I was not exposed to technology and internet until when I stepped into college. I took up Bachelor of Science in Industrial Design. This decision to take this route of designing technology exposed me to some of the well-known tech companies as I researched in our library. Take note, at this time, internet was still at its infancy in the Philippines, and the exposure with other cultures and working with different suppliers and vendors had advanced my thinking and how I view physical designs, digital designs, and culture. Along my journey as a designer, there were a few companies I got inspiration. All designers dream to work on this company because of their culture. To name a few, early in my career, just fresh in college, I was amazed about Nokia. What they did was they let their designers go to a lake and get inspiration and do a lot of sketches for a cell phone design. I thought that was really fun as you are going outside the 4 walls of your office. They let them connect to nature, and sometimes they let their designers travel to those emerging countries so they can connect with customers. By the way, this is the time that Nokia phone was the gadget that everyone wanted to have. Okay, and what I really like with their former Nokia's head of design, Frank Novo, said, and I quote, "You cannot fall in love with your first idea. You have to be able to explore and take input from many different people with different talents and field and expertise." And of course, Apple, the most driven design company from the very first iMacs to iPods and iPhones. As the former design officer of Apple, Johnny Ive, said, and I quote, "Our goals are simple. We genuinely try to make the very best product that we can. We have belief that we can solve our problems and make products better and better. It is a simple goal to articulate, but difficult to achieve. Simplicity is a key in making great user experience." My first job was in Japanese company where I designed a Bluetooth headset, and my team lead at the time, Carlo Victoriano, at the time said to me, "Look at the tower outside the window. They are almost done, but until now, we haven't released yet our product." It was an ordinary comment, but if I will connect the dots, I can say that we're waiting to make it perfect. We should just have tested and iterate as we go along, or partner with some experts or other agile ways to achieve the speed and creativity that you can only have when you have the design culture. And when I started my early year career in Lexmark, we designed printers based on business and engineering side of things. This is the first designed inkjet printer, and you can see the shape. It's rectangular and monolith. This is the time where the iPod has been a hit, and everyone wants to have one. So influence in design, you can see it from the rest of the industries. At the time in Lexmark, our engineers built products to meet prescribed price point and performance requirements. At the end of the process, designers would skin the product, make it look nice, and pass it to the usability team to test the product. And for most of the time, we did not have a leeway to make changes due to schedule and cost. When you buy a printer 10 years ago, you will ask, how much is the speed to print? Today, when you buy a printer, you will ask, does it connect to my iPhone? Can it do a 3D print? Or is there a Wi-Fi? Today, design and user experience is the ultimate battleground for global competition for your product and services. I believe that design is the closest thing in a company to understand users and their needs. If you ask 5 designers to explain the design culture of their organization, you'll get 5 different answers. It's about statics, processes, design principles, UX, or all of the above. While the particulars may change, though, design culture boils down to several overarching universal themes. I will share to you 2 stories about the shift in culture in large organizations like Lexmark. One that puts design much closer to the center of the enterprise. But the shift isn't about aesthetics. It's about applying the principles of design to the way people work. I was privileged to work with this very talented team when we look at this new control panel. We tasked to create a prototype of a new way of interacting the control panel using the latest technology. The output could have been just a presentation of engineering work, but because of Lexmark design culture, the team acknowledges the need to create a squad that understands user experience, industrial design, modern user interface, to simplify and humanize the prototype. The result was well appreciated and understood by a lot of more people. In other words, relatable. This new approach is a response in increasing complexity of modern technology and the modern business. Second example, a deck of slides of Lexmark's strategy. I remember when I was approached to help to put together the graphics and styling of our strategy in a PowerPoint. It was very text heavy and overwhelming information. If we will rally the team to read and discover this strategy, it will not be encouraging and easy to read for them. I have applied the concept of information architecture, making the content easy to read and understand, plus the additions of icons and graphics. When this was delivered to our team, our director commented that you put a heart into our strategy. My personal definition of design culture is really about giving the company a heart. And by heart, I mean demonstrating that we don't just care about ourselves, but we genuinely care about the outside world and our dear customers. In a design culture organization, design is not only applied to the product or services, but to the whole organization itself, from the walls of your hallways to your conference rooms, the way you send emails. Employees need to feel that you have that culture. Design is not just something that needs to be represented by designers, but the entire company. Everyone in the company becomes a designer the moment each employee can rally around the customer's journey. Having and growing in a design culture is easier said than done. I have 3 things here that hopefully will help build the design culture for your organization. Number 1, connect to the organization's vision. Every member of the team must know that you're trying to develop a culture. This is to ensure no one is left behind. In Lexmark, we have seen clearly from the CEO to the rest of the leaders contributing to that culture we want. High emphasis on innovation, creativity, UX, and design. One of our leaders shared about her culture change as reducing the approval processes or reducing meetings. These examples help the rest of the organization to think of how they can contribute and build that culture. When we had our hackathon event last year, hackathon is like you create some project, personal project, and we have some presentation to show and showcase those projects. It was anchored to the vision set by our leaders, the design culture of innovation and inclusion. When team members are encouraged and shown a sense of belongingness, everyone feels valued and stays engaged. And this is one of the things that I was proud about, is that they even volunteered to help and create the logo and branding for our hackathon event without even asking them to do it, because they know what our company stands for and they believe that what we want to achieve. Second, connect people in your organization. Is your company the land of the living dead? Do your teams work in silos? When company is in low in connecting people around the organizations, it's clear to observe. We cannot find the information we need. Creative gaps will arise and there will be a low communication in and out of the office. If the connection of the team members is strong, this can lead to more happiness, higher information flow, collective action, and collaboration. As a designer, sometimes we feel good at having empathy to the users, but we are not good at having empathy towards our technical and business peers. Example, designer versus the developers, or industrial designers versus the developing engineers. The design culture of Lexmark allowed us to embrace collaboration and respect. I remember when I was early in my career in Lexmark as a designer, I was confronted by an engineer because I kept asking a lot of changes to the part design. It created a friction between us because our mindset at the time was more about competition than collaboration, perfection than iteration. Fast forward today, the collaboration among hardware engineers is more mature and there is willingness to listen. You can say that what's in your mind, the team will respect and listen. And designers can even be a glue to the different teams because designers usually work in multiple projects and programs across different teams. And you can compare each teams and projects if they are using the correct color or they are following the style guides or the design language or the font or the part design. We connect people from around the company who sometimes have never collaborated together. When we created a project for Lexmark employee engagement app, one of the challenges we have is the privacy and security. How will the app function and who will maintain it after? Are we creating another app to be maintained again? We did a focus group and have seen there's a strong demand for this, and we found that it's really a matter of resource discussion. By constantly connecting people around the organization, questions get answered and ideas get ironed out. If we want to have a real connection with people through our product and solve their problems, it's crucial to have an open and collaborative culture within the company. A culture where people are not afraid to stand up and show that they don't have all the answers, but they will not stop until they find them. Connect with your customers and marketplace. Quick activity. If you will be given a chance to design a printer, how it would look like? Will you make it sleek? Will it have an LED? Will it have a Siri functionality or Hey Google? Will it be a social printer connected to your FB and Twitter? In a connected world, we can brainstorm an idea, create a prototype, probably, and file a patent for that. If you have an idea about the coolest printer, let me know and we can collaborate. Similar to the Airbnb founder Brian Chesky, he will always go to Twitter and announce this. If Airbnb could launch anything in 2022, what would it be? This is not the usual process, right? But you get customers' insights direct from the users. Connecting with your customers should not be difficult. As simple as going to YouTube and type your product there, read the comments, or visit Amazon, check the reviews. You will understand better your product. There's still a lot of the innovation that can be done on imaging industry as we continue to connect with our customers. In a connected world, information is very accessible. Interestingly, your team can only contribute if they know who your customers are. All team members need to know the behavior of the customers, what motivates them, why they patronize the product, and what they plan to achieve. It is only if we understand the users that we can make suggestions that go with the team's goals and objectives. Innovations does not happen by just gathering the team, even gathering the most creative team, because innovation always starts with information. Oftentimes, the designer does not have access to customer data or high-level business goals, and management becomes frustrated when designers output and it's not aligned with what the customer wants or needs. Design needs to be integrated into all customer touchpoints, such as the customer service center, the packaging, website, social media, the product, and any conceivable interaction that customer has with the brand. Design culture will not thrive if we cannot sustain it. It is when the employees are motivated that they can be creative and innovative. Daniel's pink formula of motivation is this: AMP. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. This is a sample chat I received from our senior manager, Tari Young. Hey Nelson, I received feedback from the team but nothing to change on your story. They trust your creativity. The autonomy is really the trust and giving you that freedom and autonomy which motivates you to think creatively. Rethinking traditional ideas, it gives us freedom on how we can solve the problem in a different way. Mastery is the desire to improve. This is your professional development or your personal R&D. If you're motivated by mastery, you're likely to see your potential as being unlimited and you constantly seek to improve your skills through learning and practice. And purpose, this is the bigger picture of why you are doing it. A year ago, I joined to help the team called Cellular Cube Printer. I know this is on top of my day-to-day deliverables, but I said yes because the team trusted me and given me the autonomy to think differently without those limitations to visualize the concept printer. And while working on the physical design, I was challenged also to help create how it will be presented in a website. And again, it unlocks the mastery as I research on how to create a website. Being a person with little background about codes, I research and connect with other designers on how they do these cool websites. I bump into this no code, low code movement where I discover a different way of designing websites. People see no limits to their potential when they go out from their comfort zone and do something different. I invest my time and learning and eventually delivered the website. And lastly, the purpose. I can still remember Kevin Schoeninger will keep on saying this. Resist adding features that user will not need. Let's focus on simplicity and user experience. If you are connected to that vision and purpose, you are encouraged to use your skills to achieve that greater purpose. This formula, AMP, or the autonomy, mastery, and purpose, is proven and effective in bringing the best in the team. The actions are proactive because the team are empowered to make decisions and not waiting for someone to tell them what to do. This mindset helps sustain the design culture. You cannot ask your colleague to be innovative and design driven if there is no prepared environment, no established culture. If it's unprepared environment, people will still be doing the same thing like how they do 10 years ago. One must master the art of rethinking that once was innovative and relatable may now be obsolete and irrelevant. An innovation in design culture does not start with gathering your team to come up with idea, but it starts with information. The more you are connected and informed about the business, customers, and other areas in your organization, the more you can create better experiences and connect even more. And design isn't just for designers. Everyone in the organization should feel empowered to participate in the design process, encouraged to apply design thinking, culture of experimentation. Innovation should be part of everyone's job. In day one, a continuous improvement mindset must be built in the entire organization to connect everyone and drive the design culture. This is the card I received last December before the Odette happened from one of the Lexpark designers, Kim Javier. It's a hand-drawn card, my face is there, and a handwritten message, if I may read. Thank you, Neilson, for guiding me through this year and for almost 4 years since my day one in Lexmark. Thank you for believing in what I do and pushing me to different initiatives and opportunities. Remember the AMP, the autonomy, mastery, and purpose. This handwritten message screams AMP. And then she ended it with you inspire me. From a technology side, we can connect to people using Messenger. There's a lot of tools out there to collaborate. Slack, MS Teams, SharePoints, Power BIs. But design culture is more than those connections. To create something great, while growing each other in new areas, because the best connections don't only move our world forward, but move people forward. Thank you.